Time to fly, time to fly. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand after.
Okay, legends, welcome back to the channel with another Fighter Duel video. Now we have a new event that dropped with a new character, which is Banquet Guy. Now he's a character that's traditionally, I'm not happy with the way that their combo goes, as in the end, like he takes a lot of time to do his C3. But he's a good character, very high damage dealer. I had the chance to try him when he's built to a certain extent. He's not maxed fully, no stars, but we did try him at FS or his exclusive at 30 and 6 cars. And he does decent amount of damages. He actually one-shots one tap in story mode. And this is where you want to focus on. Now in bossing, he's dealing good amount of numbers, but I didn't figure out the combo team rotation. Still, he's dealing similar damages to double Bison teams or Visconde Vega, a little bit, maybe less. Maybe if we put him in a different synergy, he will be absolutely nice. Now this character is phenomenally good. In my opinion, I like the way that he plays. He does really quite good amount of damages, and he's your carry, and he's also a buffer for your entire team, plus a semi-healer, if you can say that, because he stacks his debuffs or his buffs, and he heals his entire team. We're gonna be talking about him. I'll be explaining what he's doing actually, and sometimes it's a little bit confusing for some of us. I was confused a little bit, because when they say that he consumes at certain stacks, and then you're gonna reach another stacks and gonna get them consumed, I thought it was the same or different. We're gonna talk about his passive first. So Banquet Guy's skill will inflict one black or white on target hit. So when he hits the target, he inflicts either black or white. He doesn't do them together. So sometimes I think if it's a multiple hit of a target, like if he hits 3 times, he's gonna go and inflict one time maybe black if you're lucky, and one time white if you're lucky. So he might do them twice, because I've seen when I did his super, he should unleash at least one. He did unleash 2, and it was kind of confusing for me. So it's his passive with his attacks, as well as grant Banquet Guy one black and one white, or one white for himself as well. This effect does not require the passive to start. It means even if you didn't level him up and you went and tried him in bossing, which they will level him up for you, so all of his skills will be already unlocked. When Banquet Guy inflict black on an enemy, this attack will deal additional true damage equal to 3% of the target's lost HP, which is great actually in PvP or in bossing. In PvP, you're gonna play him with one-shot meta. If he doesn't one-shot, if the team goes and absolutely do something, they might kill him, unless you have these characters that can actually let you survive, or any character on assist on him like Virgil that can make him survive. Now it's capped at 300% of Banquet Guy attack, which is also decent. It's huge as well. So when Banquet Guy inflicts white on an enemy, the attack will deal additional true damage equal to 1% of the target maximum HP. Maximum HP is much better. It's better for bossing since they don't lose HP, and it will help you out deal a lot of damage. Now it's capped at 100% of his attack, because again, the other one is 300 because they lose HP, so it's better for PvP and story. The other one for bossing is good, but it's capped at 100% of his attack. So when Guy or Banquet Guy accumulates at least 30 black and or 30 white, or and 30 white, not or and 30 white, he will expend the 30 black and white to recover 15% of his max HP. Additionally, he will gain 15% increase in damage reduction and increase in damage bonus. He will deal extra damages and damage reduction for himself, so he will sustain even more or survive a little bit more. And 15% of the target's defense will be ignored for 12 seconds, which is great actually, by him only, not by his entire team. And when an enemy fighter accumulates at least 30 black and 30 white, 30 black and 30 white will be expended to deal true damage equal to 15% of the target's max HP, which is great for bossing, to that enemy fighter, capped at 1500% of Banquet Guy's attack, which is huge actually. It's a one-shot, you could say. And in bossing, I think we made it twice. We hit the expansion twice or 3 times, I don't remember correctly, but this is where the damages came from the true damage. When Banquet Guy accumulates at least 50, now we're talking about 50. Now you're gonna tell me he expand at 30 and then it happens at 50. Yes, it does stack until 50, and he will reach really quickly the first time, or he will reach really quickly the 30 and expend it, and then you can go to 50 and expend it again. So accumulates 50 white, he will expend 50 white alone, not black, to gain undispellable shield. And you're gonna see that sometimes you have more black, you have more white, and stuff like that. equal to 50% of max HP and 50% increase in damage reduction for 12 seconds, he will sustain a lot and he will be tanky. When an enemy accumulates at least 50 white, 50 white will be expended to reduce the target's defense by 50% and damage reduction by 50%, which is huge actually, to let the boss take extra damages for 12 seconds from everybody from your lineup. So this is a great debuffer for now. I think the pivotal point in bossing, if you want him at 50, expend the black at 50 and deal as much damage as possible. So he's really decent with this category. We're seeing a trend with Guy that they are building every single guy, even the guy that we had already, Action Guy, that he does damage reduction on the enemies, which is really great. Now when Banquet Guy accumulates at least 50 black will be expended to recover 500 combo meter and gain 50% increase in bonus in damages for 12 seconds. When an enemy fighter accumulates at least 50 black will be expended to deal true damage to the enemies up to 30% of the target's HP, lost HP, to that enemy fighter, capped at 3000% of Banquet Guy attack, which is really great. And if you get his EX up to level 3, I think all the durations of the effects will be expended or extended to 16 seconds instead of 12. Now, it's not super complicated. Reach him to 30 stacks, expend, deal damages, and get extra bonuses in damage reduction and defense. Also, heal as well. And at 50, you deal extra damages, plus you're gonna get extra damage bonus on yourself. Plus, you're gonna increase the damages taken by the boss or any unit that you're fighting, which is really decent. His super, and it's an AoE. His skills are AoE, which is absolutely fantastic, will help him a lot. So, jump and perform spinning kick that strikes enemies in an area 10 times. So you have 10 times the chance to inflict these kind of debuffs, the black and the white. Each strike deals damage equal to 80% of attack and inflicts 1 white. While unleashing the skill, this fighter gains 30% increase in damage reduction for himself and can block projectiles, just like Honda, if we're gonna say, with his wall, or from the orbs from Chun-Li, athlete Chun-Li, which is something is similar here. So AoE or range attacks, he will get them blocked so he can survive even more. Now here you're gonna say that, oh, it's only white, but the passive works as well. So you can hit and inflict white and black at the same time and gain white and black with his AoE, with all of his skills actually. So at level 2, while unleashing this skill, this fighter gains 50% increase in damage reduction and a super armor. Super armor, it means he can't be knocked out. He can be stunned, but you can't knock him out. So anything that interrupt and knock out, it can't happen to him. At level 3, each strike deals damage equal to 90% of attack. Each hit restores 1% of HP to all friendly fighters and increase their attack by 1% and defense by 1% for 12 seconds, stacking up to 30%. You don't need to build him on anything. Even if you have him at 1 copy, he will deal this if you start with his ultimate. Now, white, it's also does something whenever you have it. It's not just stacks that are up there. So it does deal damage upon infliction and triggers a special effect after reaching the required numbers. It means at 30 and at 50, which is great. Now, his C1, his combo 1, dash to the target location, then deal damage equal to 450% of attack to enemies in an area, AoE, also inflicting 1 white on the target when hit. The fighter will also gain an additional 9 white. Additionally, reduce the target's damage reduction by 10%, which is great, and increase friendly fighters' damage reduction by 10%. It means he preserves your lineup and deals damage reduction. Now you can play him with Rich Honda. I want to test him with Rich Honda, super from Rich Honda, and C1 from him, not with Poison C2, with Flame Chun, and then with Fire Adon. I think this would be decent as a supporting unit with his C1, which will be decent, but it does not stack. It's only 10% reduction in damage. With Rich Honda, I don't know if it will make a lot of difference, but I think still Poison wins the race here. So at level 2, while unleashing this skill, this fighter gains 50% increase in damage reduction. He survives as well, and super armor as his AoE ultimate or his super. Upon unleashing this skill, this fighter will gain a shield equal to 20% of maximum HP, his own maximum HP, which is really great as well. Increase damages to 650% of attack, additionally reduce targets damage reduction by 20%, and increase friendly fighter damage reduction by 20%. So it's 20%, no longer 10%, for 15 seconds, and you can apply it and apply it and apply it, and it keeps applying, but it does not stack. It doesn't say that it stacks here. So his C3, the last one, which is the AoE, and this one deals a lot of damage, but it takes a lot of time. As you see, look at the screen. I touch the C3, and this is what happened. So he goes, hit, and do the swiping, keep hitting, and then comes back slowly. And he does that. When he stops and deals damage, he also needs time to come back, so you can't like spam it. Sometimes maybe you can miss it unless you have a C1 that is long, a C2 that takes a lot of duration, then his C3 will be available. So strike an enemy fighter 3 times, with each strike dealing damage equal to 30% of attack and inflicting 1 black, then teleport behind the targets and strike all enemies. So he strikes the first enemy, then teleports behind them and hits everybody else in an area 15 times, with each strike dealing damage equal to 30% of attack, inflicting 1 black finally. In the end, he inflict 1 black. He inflict 1 black at the start as well, and he gained black. With his passive, he inflict more and more and takes more and more. So, unleashes 6 explosion in the target area, with each explosion dealing damage equal to 60% of attack and inflicting 1 white. While unleashing this skill, this fighter gains 50% increase in damage reduction and super armor, like every single skill that he has. Each strike causes the fighter to ignore 2% of the target's armor for 2 seconds. Any type of armor. If he has super armor, which is dealing reductions if they have it on their passive, or if they have shields, he will ignore the shields and go deal a little bit of damage. Now, except with Able, if you deal damage, it ticks and he goes through damage. So he deals damage throughout their armors, plus it will tick and it gets removed. Each strike causes targets to receive 2% more damage for 2 seconds. So over time, for 2 seconds, every second they're gonna take 2%, it means 4%. Each strike increases the fighter attack by 2% for 2 seconds. For 2 seconds, you're gonna increase your attacks, which is great. Now black, deals damage upon infliction and trigger, same as white. As you inflict it, it deals extra damages. I think it's 2% of attack. This is what they mean about it. A special effect after reaching 30 and 50, which is decent. Now his fighting spirit, which is also good because it's basically at the start of the battle gives him something. He has high HP, he has super high attack bonus and damage scaling and effect accuracy, because you need the effect accuracy. Now this is at 40. At 50, I think, or at plus 30, you're gonna have it 5% damage bonus and 5% effect accuracy. So, upon entering the battle, Banquet guy will gain 10 white and 10 black, which is decent. Now, his assist, when assisted fighter is deployed in the starting team, not in the tag position, they will gain a buff that cycles between increasing their damage by 25% and increasing their damage reduction by 25% for 10 seconds, and they start with a damage bonus. So they start the battle with dealing extra 25% damage bonus. After 10 seconds, they sustain for 25% with damage reduction on themselves, and then after 10 seconds, they will go. So we have 90 seconds a fight, let's say, so it happens, the cycle goes 9 times. So at plus 10, upon attacking, if this fighter has more than 50% HP, increase this fighter's speed by 10, which is decent at the start of the battle, and damage bonus by 10%, so he dishes extra damages. If this fighter have less than 50% HP, increase his defense by 10% and damage reduction by 10% instead, so he can survive even more. This is a very survivable unit actually, with everything that he does. At plus 20, upon entering the battle, no more he gains 10, he gains 15 by 15, and he will get super armor for 8 seconds at the start of the battle. Plus 30, upon attacking, if this fighter has more than 50% HP, increase this fighter's speed by 20, no longer 10, and damage bonus by 20, no longer 10, and if he's less than 50%, he gains 20% defense and 20% damage reduction instead of 10%, which is decent. I think it's really good. I don't think this is a horrible character, or but anyway, not bad. I think he will be meta in some lineups if we figure out a way that we can stack everything here and allow the enemies, or allow our fighters to get the buffs. We're gonna read his cars. His cars are important for fights, I think, for your lineup in total in general. When Banquet guy accumulates at least 30 black and white, not or, he will expend 30 black, 30 white, and restore 15% max HP to all other friendly fighters, including himself. Additionally, all other fighters will gain 15% increase in damage reduction, 15% in damage bonus as damage bonus, and they will ignore 15% of the target's defense. This is good. If their target has high defense, you're gonna ignore it and you will deal extra damages, especially against this event. If you're gonna go check why we're not dealing these crazy amount of numbers like 15 billion or 20 billion on the regular basis, on regular account, I'm not talking about whales, because they have high defense a little bit. They build them on defense, and with him he will increase these damages with the 3 out of 6 cards. Now 6 out of 6, Banquet guy will ignore enemy shields when unleashing a skill. Any skill, he will ignore completely the shields, go out through the shields and deal damages. Does this remove the shields? If you're not dealing damages to the shields will not dissipate. It will not get removed unless you deal damages to them and remove them, because it will be upon defense or max HP or attack, depending on the enemies. Now, if it was able, he will deal the damages and it will consider a hit and it will remove it completely. So he ignores able. He shuts down able metas or able defenses 100%. This is what we're gonna be talking about. And let's go and check out also his EX. It's here. So the new EX, it's here. Let's go and read it. I didn't summon for it. I want to check it. It does not have speed. Okay, I didn't read it yet. I didn't check it out. So let's check it together. It does not have speed. It has HP and attack, defense, and damage bonus, which is good. This applies to all your entire lineup when you level them up. So cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds when unleashed for the first time. Cooldown of the EX moves, I think. Yeah, the cooldown for it will be reduced, which is good, so you can spam it by the end of the battle. Upon unleashing, recover 300 super combo gauge and grant 1 yin fish to all friendly fighters. I think 1 yin fish is something like the black and white. I think it's a different buff. Banquet guy gains double the stacks of yin fish and yang fish. Okay, yin fish and yang fish is the yin and yang, which is white and black. Okay, so this is what happens, and it continues. Yin fish increases the attack by 12% damage and bonus, and 12% it changes into what? Okay, so yin fish increases attack by 12% and damage bonus by 12%. It changes into yang fish after 10 seconds. It stacks up 1 time. Okay, so only 1 time it stacks up. And yang fish increases defense by 12% and damage reduction by 12%. Changes into yin fish after 10 seconds, stacks up to 1 time. So both of them changes, and it will keep giving you the same stacks. So basically you after 10 seconds it changes, I don't know, so it lasts for 10 seconds, so it will be 20 seconds uptime for this. So at the start of the battle you might use it and gain extra super combo for 300, which is decent. At 1 star, increase the amount of super combo gauge by 400. So 400 is really okay for any fight. For bosses maybe, so you don't start at 51 seconds anymore. Maybe you can do even more. Upon unleashing this skill, grant all friendly fighters a shield equal to 10% of the max HP of their all total max HP. So any character that is there, they will gain 10% max HP of their max HP. Also grant a shield equal to 10% of max HP whenever the buff changes. Okay, the buff, which mean yin and yang that we said here, after 10 seconds they change it, so they're gonna gain that every time it changes, which is good. At 3 stars, cooldown is reduced by 3 seconds when unleash the first time. Yin fish, or let's say white and black. Okay, so white increases attack by 16% and damage by 16%, and black defenses by 16% and damage reduction by 16%, and they change after 10 seconds. You're gonna get them both again. So at 4 stars, increase the amount of super gauge by 500, which is really okay as well, and also recover 50 super combo gauge whenever the buff changes. That's really nice. So it means 2 of them, so it's 100. So by 500, 600 in total. Okay, at 5 stars, cooldown is reduced by 4 seconds when unleashed the first time. You're gonna get 20% in attack and 20% in damage bonus, and 20% in defense and 20% in damage reduction for 10 seconds, and then they change the 10 seconds and you get them again. I think it's decent, good EX. It's not bad. I think it will help in bossing a lot. Can we go and check if we can get it? I don't wanna summon for it yet. I'm gonna leave it right now. And this is everything for him. I don't know if you test him, guys. Anybody that tested him and checked out what he does, I don't think he will be game changer. I could see him being used in PvP, but because he needs a lot of stacks to accumulate, maybe there's a shutdown team. Even if you interrupt them or if you stun them mid combo, they can't complete. It does not be beneficial for him because he needs 30 stacks at least to he become online, and then 50 stacks so he can execute. But his C3 looks very, very nice. You can't hit him while he's doing his C3. He's almost invulnerable. I tried to touch him. I tried to kill him while he's in C3. Everybody died except him, which was a little bit confusing because it does not say it in the skill. So maybe this is something that we can use actually to cheese our ways in some certain areas, maybe in tower stages, maybe in PvP, I don't know. But for bossing, I think the buffs and the debuffs are really amazing. You can fit him in a lineup. He can take some places in some lineups and maybe be a second damage dealer, so you use him for the buffs, and by the end, if your main carrier dies, he can continue this last combo or 2 combos and he can be decent. Yeah, that was it for the video. Let me know what you think about him, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.
Time to fight, time to fight.